Hi guys, good afternoon. It is 95 in the shade here in La Mesa, San Diego. A little warm. I'm going to try to cover a few things, a little bit of a tutorial maybe today. I'm changing primary gear, pinion gear on the Blue Bling, going from a, started with a 17 that came stock. I'm going to pan around the car so maybe you can see some odds and ends of things. Sorry, forgive me, I forgot who it was that asked about the switch. I relocated the stock switch. Camera's focusing nicely. Not. Here's the stock switch. I relocated it up here. Restarted the connections. Zip tied it there. There is a zip tie if you can see it, and a basic low battery detector there. Doesn't give out digital, but it beeps and has lights, green and red, to tell you the battery condition. And I'm just kind of panning around the car here. I thought I'd show you before I take them off how I mount the stock battery in front of the shock tower. And here's my all-thread, get up there, all-thread shock tower brace. Couldn't be simpler. The hole's already there. 2mm or 3, I think it was a 2mm rod, or 3, I can't remember. Anyway, I mean they're $1 each, buy one of each. Makes a perfect brace for the shock tower. You just thread it through, you're done. I normally mount the battery here in front of the shock tower, and you can see the end result when it's all together in a number of my photos. But here's how I do it. I take basically 2 of these small zip ties, put them together, clip the ends off. I thread it through the existing holes. I did have to gnaw a hole through here at the back, get up there. Right in here I just cut open a hole so I could access and get 2 of these zip ties through, double them up, and now when the engine cover's on, I set the battery down in, start strapping them together, top and bottom, and then around it, and boom, it's done. 6 zip ties. I'm going to pull them out right now. That was just to show you how I mount that. Very simple. I've taken out the foam on the bottom because now when I tie it real tight, it doesn't even touch the foams I made, and I don't think it's necessary. Initially I thought it would help with any shocking, but it's not needed. You get a pointer here. This is another bunch of my old school heat sinks. Super glue gel is all it took to hold them on. I've got them on all 3 cars. They work bitchin'. A lot cheaper than about anything I've seen. I'm an advocate of the Blue Banggood heatsink for the motor. I sold off the fan heatsink. I just didn't think it was needed. I mean, it doesn't get hot. The heatsink doesn't get hot. I can touch the motor mount. Screws on the bottom, they're not hot. The motor, I can actually touch it and hold my finger there after 10 minutes. I don't know what more you want. So there's my coilovers. The point today is I'm changing. I went to a 20, and that is probably all you're going to fit under the stock cover. And I'm going back to the stock cover because I just got a rock in it the other day, and it caught between the pinion and the spur and locked it up. Didn't hurt anything. Pried it out, cleaned it all. But I said, well, I want to cover it. It's great for access. When I put it on, I can see the gear lash. You know, you want a little bit of movement. I don't know if it'll show up. Probably can't see it, but I can rock the spur gear and feel it clack against the pinion gear just barely. Yeah, it's probably too small to see it. I don't know if this will focus well enough. Guess it doesn't. Take my word for it. You've got to have that, just a little bit of movement. So when I put this cover on and turned it over, I heard some horrible grinding, and I went, oh crap. So I put my other cover, the not on, grinding's gone away. Okay, the problem's here in the pinion, it's touching somewhere. So then I put whiteout all over the inside, and you can see, well, now I can't point to it, but on the inside where it's not whiteout, it's black to the inner right middle to the right. You could see the pinion was rubbing that, so I took my Dremel and opened that area up, and now it's clearanced. So I can now run the full cover. I put Allen screws here to mount the motor, and it took a little, you can see how I opened up the top of the opening there to clearance for the Allen screws. So a 20 is probably as big, and then obviously I'm running the 21 turn Banggood bearing motor with the neo magnets, adjustable timing. I like it a lot, and I've been as low as a 16 tooth. That was too low. I had started with stock 17 and said, well, which way can I go? I'll shorten it up. Nope, way too low. I put an 18 on it. Nah, it didn't give me much speed. I put a 19 on it. Okay, now we're getting there. So I'm trying a 20, and I think, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure since I'm grinding here, I could probably grind a little more clearance. Maybe a 21 will fit under this cover. Otherwise, if you want to go bigger, you can still fit quite a number of gears in here. I also slotted the motor mount right behind, you can't see it because we've got a washer there, right behind the Allen screw that mounts the motor to the motor mount. I've slotted it sideways, ovaled it, both top and bottom, so now I can go either direction with higher, bigger and smaller pinions. So I can probably go another 2 or 3 or 4 teeth if I want to. And let's remember, I'm not running the big old stock tires. These are 2.56 diameter on-road tires. They call them 10th scale. They look pretty odd on a big 10th scaler, but on the road cars, that's what they run. The Traxxas X runs tires virtually the same. They're just a fraction, maybe a millimeter or two taller. These were $11, $11.19 I think in the door. Nice, that's a good price. I've seen them. I've got the green ones were like $9. All these here with a 12 millimeter hex and takes a 4 millimeter same stock size hole for the axle where the nut goes on, and that's good. You can use all kinds of different tires and go up the other way for off-roaders and stuff. But this is my on-road car, my oval car, my Across oval car. So that's what I'm building here. Another thing, I changed back to use the 12-423 lower arm. I just wasn't happy with the stock blue one. Just too much slop, and I've shimmed. I put teeny washers and shims all over the car. In all these areas where something goes together, it's sloppy. I've just been over it and over it and over it. Put in some here just to try to tighten everything up. I'm real happy with the rear end now. You can see washer out here, a spacer in here to get the shock standing up better at a better angle. Because I decided to use the tower brace here, I went back to this stock locating hole for the upper mount, and the rear shocks are in the rearmost mount. Lays them down, softens the spring a little bit, and I want the rear end pretty soft. It still works great. You can see it obviously has damping, but plenty of movement, dampens well. The front's the same. The tires are working better now. They've gone to full on-road. The other day they worked well. And finally, I just got in the door. This is the metal servo with a 5-wire connector from Banggood. $8.29. Can't beat that. And I'm actually holding it back. I got a stock one and a metal one, and knock on wood, I have not had a servo problem in any of the cars. I put a regular 10th scale servo saver on the Across Rustler, and then used the plastic gear, the stock servo. It took quite a lot of pains to mount it. 1/12 size servo and a 10th size bracket on the Across Rustler. That was a bit of a hassle, but it's worked fine with I had an adapter. Kimbrough makes a servo with 3 or 4 little adapters, and they have one that will downsize the servo